So last night, after last night, I should say, everybody's been making a comparison between what Seth Rollins had to say in his work shoot promo, to what Adam Page said in his promo, both to CM Punk. The only difference that a lot of people point out is Adam Page, and this was reported all over the place, mostly including by people like Fightful and even Dave Meltzer and others. Basically, what they came out and said was what Adam Page did on that Dynamite before Double or Nothing. Adam Page basically went off script. Adam Page went into business for himself, and unannounced started saying what he did about, workers' rights and all that, protecting AEW and all that. Basically, he did not stick to, I guess, the original plan and decided to go into business for himself. This is why months later, CM Punk decides doing his program build-up with his match with Jon Moxley. CM Punk decides to go and shoot and call out Adam Page, knowing that Adam Page wasn't in the building that night. And why? Because that was a receipt. That was a receipt owed to him from Adam Page going into business for himself on the Dynamite or so, building up to Double or Nothing. Here though, you could tell Punk was already prepped for this. It's like he was brought to the back and said, hey, we're going to let Seth Rollins go out there, say his piece, be real with you and all that, and then you're going to have the floor. And Punk was like, okay, cool. I have no problem with that. And, off to the races we went. And the biggest difference that people say between this and Adam Page is Punk was prepared for it. Punk was prepared for it, and the man delivering it to him was given the okay to go out and make it as real and legit as possible. And also, the biggest takeaway that a lot of people, took from this is the difference between the companies. And that difference is that AEW was not professional enough to basically get the Bucks, Omega, Page, and anybody else that had a beef with CM Punk out behind the scenes. That AEW was not professional enough to get them in a room and work out an agreement of, hey, we know you don't like each other, but we can make money off this, in the ring. We're letting you guys go and do your thing, and then afterwards you don't have to associate, anymore. But they didn't do that. Here you have WWE pretty much sending a message, firing a massive shot towards AEW saying, hey, look, we're taking a real life situation on our end when it comes to one of our guys in CM Punk, and we're making it work. We're doing it professionally. We're doing it professionally. We're going to make money off this. We're going to sell out arenas building up to Royal Rumble and WrestleMania and Elimination Chamber. Oh, you only wish you could have done this, AEW. That is what they're doing. And you can't tell me that when Triple H went to CM Punk and told him what they were planning to do, that CM Punk wasn't on board with that and saying, oh yeah, I would love to take a big shot at my former employer, and the unprofessionalism they showed. You can't tell me Phil Brooks wasn't on board with that. He was on board with that. You can't tell me that Seth Rollins, who's been outspoken at times about AEW, and their unprofessionalism and the minor leagueness, you can't tell me that Seth Rollins, being given the green light to go out there and say what he wants to say, you can't tell me he wasn't smiling from ear to ear, being like, oh yeah, I'd love to take this personal beef I have with Punk and turn it into a work shoot angle. I'm professional enough to do that. And guess what? That's exactly what we're getting. And you can't tell me Tony Khan is not hearing about this or even watching what happened last night and basically hitting the wall, at full force, not literally, but figuratively. You can't tell me that figuratively he is not boom, 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 boom like that, hitting the wall, out of frustration of like, man, that could have been me. That could have been my angle. All because of the fact that he was too afraid to sit the elite, to sit Punk in the same room and work something out to where all they'd have to do is do this work shoot angle, have a match, and be done, and they won't have to associate ever again. He wasn't man enough to do that. And now WWE is taking that opportunity he had, and they're going to run all the way to the bank, laughing all the way, as well as constantly taking massive shots at them for missing this opportunity. This is an example that AEW, that Tony Khan has to pay attention to. This is an example of, if you don't do it, someone else will. And in this case, the company you're trying to compete with that's now taking away your audience, your viewership, and in a sense, your talent, is going to do what you had an opportunity to do, but you wasted it. And I guarantee you this. Kenny Omega, who was willing to actually, out of the elite, Kenny Omega was willing to work with Punk, make this work. I bet you anything Kenny Omega was watching Monday Night Raw, seeing what happened, and basically he himself was even figuratively punching the wall, being like, man, that could have been us. Man, we could have made some money. You can't tell me he isn't looking back at All In, back in August, at the end of August this year. You can't tell me he's not looking back at All In thinking, man, that could have been our main event for All In. It could have been me against Punk, or me and the Bucks against CM Punk and FTR. You can't tell me he's not punching the air, figuratively. Or even figuratively throwing down his game controller. You can't tell me he's not doing that. You can't tell me FTR, is not doing that, because they are. Excuse me there. You can't tell me FTR is not feeling that way, because they are. The point is they had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after the media brawl out to make something work. Even after they all came back from suspension and injury, they had an opportunity to make something work, but they didn't want to do it. You could have had a blood and guts match with the Elite and CM Punk and FTR and whoever else would side with him, maybe Bryan Danielson going up against them, for company superiority. You could have done that, but it never happened. And now WWE is taking that opportunity by the balls that AEW had, and they're going to run with it. They are basically being given the ball. They have basically been handed, not given, handed for free, the ball, that was in their court or on their side of the field, and they are told go and score a touchdown so many times over. It's going to make the other team look like a bunch of rookie jobbers, on a cold Tuesday night, in which this is. But still, it's like, they had the opportunity, and now it's WWE's. And you can't tell me Triple H ain't laughing. You can't tell me he ain't laughing, he ain't smiling, he ain't grinning. You see that Triple H meme gif, if you will, of him smiling? He's doing that. That meme gif of Triple H smiling, he's doing that. He is doing that. And I guarantee you he'll be doing that all the way to WrestleMania and past it. Because AEW had an opportunity. Tony Khan had an opportunity and he blew it. And now WWE's got it. And all I can say is AEW, hopefully you as a company and you, Tony Khan, as a boss, you learn from this. And next time you take a real life situation between your stars, you take them to the back, you talk to them, you work something out professionally, and make some money off it. Because if not, then your future isn't bright at all. But yeah, what was once AEW's, that golden goose, that golden egg was in their hand, that golden treasure in their hand, is now in the hands of WWE. And Tony Khan, he and his company have no one to blame but themselves. But let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below, live chat during the premiere, like the video, support me in the areas listed in the description. And until next time, I am out.